All right, guys, welcome to Stack episode 3. So excited to be doing this today. I'm a little more official today. I have lighting, I have a backdrop. It's a Saturday. It's been an incredible day. This morning, I was on a phone call with my brother-in-law, Max, who is a track and field and cross-country runner at Auburn University. He had listened to the 2 episodes prior where I had said, when I was in college, I chose 3 to 5 things that I was going to do every day, and I logged those, created something I called a discipline score. The first month I achieved 67% compliance, and then 80%, and then upper 90s, and then from there on out, I got every single one. And so he asked me the question, thank you, Max, for inspiring this episode, but why and how did I choose these disciplines? Why did I choose 3 to 5? Why that range? And so to be completely honest, I was a sophomore in high school. I had started meeting with a mentor, Pastor Chris, you know who you are, thank you so much, who really opened this door for me in this pathway that discipline could change my life. Discipline could revolutionize my relationship with God. Discipline could revolutionize my body, myself as a student, as a worker, and in my future. And some of you guys may have heard this from Jocko Willink, but it's that discipline is the pathway to freedom. He would say discipline equals freedom. And I just found that to be true. And I also knew that being created in the image of God, we are 3-part beings. We're spirit, we're mind, and we're body. And so I just kind of looked at those 3 things and I said, okay, I want to do a discipline in each of those 3 areas. Spiritually, I'm going to spend, it was very low amount of time with God a day. It's grown then, right? But hey, we at least started correctly with minimums versus maximums. Physically, I'm going to work out every single day. I really can't do that anymore with my schedule. But it was a really good time for me then being in college without all the responsibilities I have now. And then mentally, I'm going to read a book every day. Not to read a book, but I'm going to read for 5 minutes every day. And I read books like Simon Sinek had a book that I read. I read a Creative Inc., which was a Pixar book, Jocko Willink's book, which is called, I'm forgetting at the moment, Extreme Ownership. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. All these books that had come out around then, I started reading. I read one called Hearing God by Nathan Finocchio, which is an incredible resource, and just grew a ton. And as I began to master those things, I actually added other things. And Craig Rochelle did a leadership talk. I can't find it. It's years and years ago. But the idea was starting the day with making your bed, because it's the first domino to fall in a series of good decisions. And so that became another discipline, and then I added a 5th one on top of there. As I got into 6, 7, and 8, it just didn't work. I just couldn't keep up with it. And I think it was because, pointing back to the SMART goal-setting framework, which disciplines are really just little goals, that T in SMART, the S stands for specific, the M is measurable, the A is attainable, the R is relevant to you, so the goal has to make sense for you and your circumstances, and then the T is for timely. And so the T for me, as I started finding these things out, as I got over 5 disciplines a day, the T became a problem, the time domain. A discipline has to be able to be done within 24 hours. Can I achieve this list of things in 24 hours? And if I can't, then I need to reevaluate what my goals are going to be. And so that's why it's 3 to 5, okay, is because of the time domain. Getting outside of 24 hours, it's not actually a discipline anymore. It's not daily. But to make it even more specific, what I found was that the best way to do this was to get things done in the morning, because I could control morning the most. As I got into the work day, as I got into the school day, things would happen, people would call me, people would need me, I'd have responsibilities pop up, that in the afternoon, my afternoon may be shot. And if I haven't gotten my time with God in, if I haven't gotten the workout in, if you're journaling, the journaling in, it's not going to happen at the end of the day. Or if it is, it's going to be very, very difficult. It's like taking steps now. I take 10,000 steps. And if I wait for all of the steps to be done at night, I'm going to be walking for almost 2 hours, which just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. But what I can control, and this is what I started doing, is how early I wake up. So I started waking up around 5 o'clock. That's what time I wake up during the week today. And really, it just started all the way almost 8 years ago for me. If I can wake up early and I can knock out this list, then I've won. The day is won. No matter what else happens, no matter if a project goes great at school or if something happens at work or someone needs me, I have won and I have gotten better. So that is the how of these goals and why I started doing these little disciplines, to answer your question, Max. But the why really came from this idea of stewardship, which I heard for the first time in college that I wish I had learned in high school. I wouldn't have wasted the years and talent that I had in high school. I would have really maximized it. But stewardship, the idea comes from this Greek word called oikonomos that's used in the New Testament. And back 2,000 years ago, in that context, an oikonomos actually served a master who was the owner. Okay, he owned businesses, he owned land, he owned a family compound, which is a great way to think about it. And he would actually entrust these things to his oikonomos, or his steward, to take care of them, to run day to day, to make better. He would entrust them with sums of money to make better, which is where we get the parable of the talents. And a talent, I believe, I could be wrong, is like equivalent to 90 pounds of silver or 90 pounds of gold. I can't remember which one, but it's a lot of money. And so you get the parable of the talents where they multiply it or don't multiply it. And a good steward is someone who multiplied it. Now, that got me to thinking, again, back to my why, what have I been given? When I was in college, I was given an education, a body, a little bit of money, not very much. I had a job at the Recreation and Wellness Center. I was a supervisor there, shout out. Spent a lot of time there. And then I was also part of a college ministry. And those were things that I was stewarding at the time. You know, what am I stewarding now? Well, I have an incredible job that I love. I have an incredible family. I have a beautiful wife. I have 2 beautiful boys, 2 under 2 right now. But I also still have this body that I'm stewarding. And I also have this talent that I'm trying to develop. Again, we talked about this in the first 2 episodes, gifts and talents. And so the idea for these disciplines and self-development and growth really wasn't from a place of, I just want to be better for better sake. It's actually, I know that I don't own this. This isn't mine. This is actually someone else's. And it's like when you borrow your friend's car, or if you've ever done that, or you're staying in someone's house, you almost treat that borrowed car or that borrowed house better than you do your own. Like, you're not eating in that car. You're not going to mess up that house. You're keeping it super clean because you don't own it. Well, as a Christian, I don't own my own life. I don't own Josh Mayo. God owns me. And that may be a culture shock for some people, but it's just the truth. That's why we call him Lord. He is Lord. He owns all of it, the earth, right? Every talent he's given us, our bodies, our families. I don't own it. And so I am a steward of these things. And a good owner and a good steward, the way the relationship works is that the owner gives the steward responsibility and access, and then the steward makes those things better. That's what I want to do. And so today I've given you the how and the why. Hopefully, Max, this helps. Thank you so much for the phone call today to kind of spur on this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm on Spotify now, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. Please subscribe. Please follow. Please like episode 3. We're going to keep going. Super excited. Thank you guys for joining me today. I will see you next time in episode 4. Goodbye.